Have you ever noticed that some people spend their whole lives looking into mirrors, yet never truly see themselves, and others never look at a mirror at all, yet somehow know exactly who they are? Hi, I'm Ethan Carter. Tonight, I want to tell you a story about a house unlike any other. A house with no mirrors. In a peaceful valley, surrounded by green hills, stood an old wooden house. It wasn't the biggest, it wasn't the most beautiful, yet people traveled from distant towns just to step inside, because everyone had heard the same strange rumor. There isn't a single mirror in that house. Visitors laughed. How can someone live without a mirror? Curiosity always won, and they knocked on the door. The owner was an elderly man named Gabriel. His hair had turned silver. His hands carried the marks of a lifetime of work. His smile was calm, the kind of smile that didn't need attention. Every guest asked him the same question: "Where are your mirrors?" Gabriel always smiled and answered, "I removed the last one many years ago." People thought he was joking, until they searched every room, the bedroom, the hallway, the bathroom. Nothing, not even a tiny piece of glass. One afternoon, a young businessman arrived. His name was Adrian. He wore an expensive suit, a polished watch, perfect shoes. Everything about him looked successful, but his eyes looked exhausted. He had heard stories about the strange old man, so he decided to see the house himself. After looking everywhere, he finally asked, "Don't you ever wonder how you look?" Gabriel poured 2 cups of tea, then quietly replied, "I used to, but I spent so much time looking at my face that I forgot to look at my heart." Adrian laughed. He thought it was just another wise saying, but Gabriel continued, "When I was young, I checked my reflection before meeting anyone. I wanted people to admire me, so I polished my appearance, but neglected my character. I worried about wrinkles, but ignored my impatience. I worried about my clothes, but ignored my words. I spent years improving the outside, while the inside stayed exactly the same." The room became quiet. Outside, the wind moved gently through the trees. Gabriel pointed toward the open window. "Tell me, when was the last time you asked yourself not how you looked, but who you were becoming?" Adrian opened his mouth, but no answer came, because he couldn't remember. That night, he stayed in the old house. There was no television, no music, no distractions, only silence. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable. Then, it became honest. He remembered promises he had broken, friends he never called back, his parents waiting for visits that never happened, the employee he had embarrassed just to prove a point. For the first time, he wasn't looking at his reflection, he was looking at himself. The next morning, before sunrise, Gabriel found Adrian sitting outside, watching the sky turn from dark blue to gold. "I couldn't sleep," Adrian said. "I kept thinking." Gabriel nodded. "That's what silence does. It introduces you to the person you've been avoiding." Before leaving, Adrian asked one final question: "If mirrors aren't important, how do you know if you've changed?" Gabriel smiled, then pointed toward the village. "If people feel safer when you're around, you've changed. If your family smiles more often, you've changed. If strangers receive kindness without expecting it, you've changed." You don't need a mirror to measure your face. Life will always reveal your character. Years passed. Adrian visited often, not to seek advice, but to remind himself what truly mattered. Slowly, his life changed. He listened more, spoke less, forgave faster, worked honestly, spent time with the people he loved. One day, a traveler visited Gabriel's house. He looked around, confused. "There really are no mirrors here." Gabriel smiled, then gently said, "There are plenty. They simply don't hang on the walls. They live in every conversation, every choice, every act of kindness, every promise you keep. The world reflects who you are far better than any piece of glass." The traveler stood quietly, looking around at a house with no mirrors, and for the first time, he understood the clearest reflection isn't the one you see with your eyes, it's the one others experience through the way you live. If this story made you pause, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you'd like more stories that stay with you long after they end, don't forget to subscribe, because in the end, the most beautiful reflection isn't found in a mirror, it's found in the life you choose to live.